Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to week 2 of Leo season. It's the tarot week. It's the tarot week. We're talking about strength and the sun. Strength is the strength card, is the card that rules Leo. And the sun in the sky is the sun isn't a planet, but it's the celestial being that rules Leo. And the card that rules the sun is the sun. So we get a special guest visit from the sun card this week too. I'm gonna hop into it. I really hope that this first week of Leo season has felt fun. I hope it's been comfortable for you. The word comfortable wants to come up. This energy can be hard for some people to embrace. I know it was really hard for me to hold my head up and be seen. When I was younger, I was a very anxious person. I preferred to feel invisible, but I so did not prefer to feel invisible. You know what I mean? Like, I wished I could be invisible, but also I so wanted to be seen and witnessed and accepted and loved. And so if you relate to that and you have a hard time being seen, this is for you. Well, this is for everybody. And I hope that this is really serving you. I hope that everybody is learning to let themselves shine. And this week will hopefully help to really just strengthen our ability to be seen and allow ourselves to shine. That's what this week is all about. Let me take a sip already. The affirmation this week is I make friends with lions. This is the strength card in this deck, in this Centennial Smith Rider Waite. I kept thinking Coleman Smith, but anyway, I make friends with lions, and you'll see as we move through this just exactly what that means. I love this shit. I'm excited. Okay, so the strength card. Let's talk about it. Similar to the Magician, strength asks us, what does it look like for us to tap into our connection with magic, with divinity, with that which is greater, with our soul? What happens when we tap in, similar to Magician, but instead of using that connection to create something and move that magic through us, we're using it to help us easily and gracefully show up in difficult situations. The Magician card is, it's more about how we use our connection and use what we know and use our soul to create change in our real world, how we use the tools that are given to us to create change in the real world. And with strength, we're using that connection. We're using that same kind of energy, that same kind of idea, but instead, we're keeping it within. We're using it to help us navigate shitty or difficult situations. And we are both the lion and the person. The lion in this card is a symbol of receptivity, of receiving. It's as if the lion on the card says, thank you. Thank you for not showing up terrified of me and ready to fight me. Thank you for showing up in reverence of me and respect for me. I want to connect with you. I'm giving you my permission, my consent to be here and see me. Right? We're also the person in this card who is showing up to the lion in a completely non-defended way. The person is wearing white and flowers, not any sort of armor. Really think on that. The person is showing up to this formidable force, this strong predator, the king of the jungle, with their defenses completely down. Actually, with no defenses at all. In Cancer season, we briefly explored our defense mechanisms and how we protect ourselves, how we use our pincher claws. And now we get to put those defense mechanisms away completely. We get to practice what that is like, because it's now it's time to explore, what is it to show up to your life undefended? What does that mean? What does that look like? That's something for you to determine. And I'll tell you this much. It does not mean showing up defenseless, unprotected, naive. It doesn't mean showing up in an unemotional, politically correct way either. You can show up with the full force of your emotions, with the full force of your experience, and still show up undefended. It means showing up with a willingness to be vulnerable, with a willingness to be seen. We get to explore, well, can we soften and still show up with the full force of our experience, of our emotions? Both. Can we soften and still show up with the full force of what is moving through us and what is going on for us? And I think of, especially some of the hardest times to do that, some times of great conflict or great pain, or fear or anger. Are you able to show up with the full force of your anger and the full force of your experience and be undefended? That feels radical. It almost, for some, might feel like opposites. It might feel impossible to tease apart being defended, protecting ourselves with defenses, and it might feel impossible to, wait, what was I don't know where I was going exactly. It may feel impossible for some to show up in anger, like to tease apart the difference between the emotion of anger and defendedness, ready for a fight. I got a little twisted there, but I hope I came out all right. I hope you're following me. This card is one of the only cards that has an infinity symbol on it. And the infinity symbol in some ways represents our connection to that which is greater, our connection to source or spirit, if you will. And it also represents connectedness and how things happen in a loop, right? So we get to really explore that relationship between vulnerability and defensiveness, and how they impact one another, right? What happens when you approach a very defensive person with vulnerability and openness, and vice versa? What happens when you approach somebody who is very vulnerable and open in the moment? How is that impacted? How is that interaction impacted when it's met with defensiveness? It can be detrimental. It can be, and there's an intimate relationship between those two things. And I want to remind us again that we are both the lion and the being, the human on this card. I'm holding it too long. The lion does not just represent difficult situations or difficult discussions or fights. It also represents the ways in which we approach ourselves, our shadows, the pieces of us that we like to gaslight away or ignore or shame. So I feel like this story really illustrates the card in a great way. It's a story that Lindsay Mack, my tarot teacher, uses to illustrate this card. This man, George Schaller, studied gorillas and was able to get closer to these families of gorillas than anyone else ever had. And like radical like breakthroughs in the study of families of gorillas. And when asked how he did it, he allegedly said, "It's simple. I didn't bring a gun. It's simple. I didn't bring a gun." Which makes so much sense, right? His theory was that if he showed up to these gorillas with a gun, even if he had no intention of using it, and it was simply there just for protection, just in case, just showing up with a gun was sending an energetic message that perhaps the creatures could sense. A message of, I want to get close to you, but maybe not too close. Maybe not that close. I'm not too sure how close I want to get. I'm not totally confident here. Showing up in, it's not a word, but non-defendedness, showing up undefended, which I think also isn't a word. Is undefended a word? Classic me. It is, unless I saved it to my library when I was typing this. For some reason, my brain kept saying undefended, but I don't think that's a word. Anyway, so not important. Showing up in an undefended way allowed him to approach the gorilla families with a different energy, and they were able to sense that. They were able to sense that, and it worked. We get to explore showing up with an undefended heart. It's okay. Remember, we're both George and the gorillas. We need to employ a willingness to be soft with ourselves. This can be really poignant. It can be really illustrated in our relationships with others. And I want to keep also returning us to our relationships with ourselves, to our inner gorillas, to our inner lion that really just wants to be seen and witnessed and accepted. Did you just hear my dog hack in the background? I'm really sorry if you did. So, can you let the armor drop? Can you be with your heart? Can you be with your feelings of deep pain or betrayal or grief or hurt or anger? Can you be with these feelings of how scary this is? We get to practice being in these situations and saying, whoa, this is a lot. This is a lot. This is bringing up a lot in me. And I can hang out in these feelings. Or can I hang out in these feelings without in any way asking them to be anything different than what they are? Without asking them to be any less than what they are, without asking them to be any less fierce or scary than they are. Can I be with this thing that is happening for me? Can you move? One moment. Sorry. Can you move throughout your life in a fully authentic way that doesn't include feeling constantly defended? This may be especially hard for some of us who aren't used to letting ourselves shine, who feel really uncomfortable being seen. And as we embrace the invitations of Leo season and work on showing up more and more authentically and from a more and more heart-centered place, can you make sure to do so without your suit of armor? Knowing that you can always choose to, knowing that you are protected. Let's explore what it means to be and feel protected and safe while also being willing to be seen and witnessed. Explore what it is like to know that you are protected and safe and you can handle it whatever comes up, you can handle it, you can move through it. And can you practice moving through it in a very authentic and vulnerable and undefended way? And I like that the Sun is the second card for the month, because it, I think, really helps us deepen that and helps us practice how to do that. The Sun is the giver of life. The Sun is this star in the sky that is so powerful. It gives life and it takes it away. Huge. Sometimes the Sun is compared to our ego. The Sun also represents our conscious mind, our will to live, our creative life force. And the Sun card is, I think, often quite simplified. It's not as simple as many people say it is. This card is not about happiness or joy or like a rebirth necessarily. It doesn't hinge, the definition of the card does not hinge on a feeling, because you can feel any sort of way and pull this card and still be in the Sun medicine or Sun energy. Calling it like a happy card is reductive of what it means. You can be feeling anything, grief, loss, anger, sadness, misery, and still be moving through Sun energy. This card is an invitation into clarity, into illumination. Things are being illuminated. We can, hey, you're in here, Argo. They're in here because otherwise they bark. So pardon me. The Sun card is something is being illuminated. We can finally start to see things more clearly where maybe they weren't so clear before, or maybe we weren't really willing to see before. This is the card that prepares us for judgment. We're finally getting some clarity, some answers. This reminds me also of the lion. It's the actual lion on the Strength card who is at ease because it can sense that the human is willing to witness the lion fully. The lion's being seen and embraced and accepted. I believe this Sun energy helps us prepare for that, or helps us strengthen our ability to do that. In many ways, this card represents how we're working with our most essential aspects of ourselves, how we're seeing ourselves, how we are witnessing ourselves. It brings us into a space to really explore how we're engaging with what is being shown to us. Are we... Let me pause for just a moment. Sorry. I'm back. Thanks for understanding. Okay, right back into it. In many ways, this card, the Sun card, really represents looking at how we're working with our most essential aspects of ourselves. It brings us into a space to explore how we're engaging with what is being shown to us, how we're engaging with what we know. Are we being invited to bring some aspect of ourself forward more strongly? Are we neglecting to do that? Are there ways that you're neglecting showing up more strongly? Are there ways that you're neglecting showing up differently? Are you willing to really see what's coming up? We get to really take a look around and look at what is actually being made or has been made quite clear for us. Not what we think we know, not what we think we are, but what is actually there, what is actually being made clear for us. We're being called to, you get to explore, like, what am I being called to say or clarify or illuminate to myself or to someone else? Like, what can I do to help clear the skies a little bit? My teacher, Lindsay Mack, asks with this card, how can you become the sun, this life giver, this thing that can literally begin and end life? How can you turn your gaze onto who you are and allow those seeds within your soil to bloom open, root down, and rise up? How can you actually become your own source of self-love and self-tending? How can your own source of sun, of light? How can you begin to see yourself for who you really are? And how can you start to promote more growth? So very sun energy. The small child on the card, let me make sure. Small child on the card, some people really relate to this card, meaning like there's a rebirth. You should be feeling reborn, new, and that might work for some people, but I don't think that's a universal expression of this energy. Every time you pull a sun card, you're not necessarily, I haven't experienced feeling like reborn. A lot of times it's not really like that. It does signify that there's like some sort of change that I need to be watching for, or some sort of thing that I'm not seeing quite clearly, right? The small child on the card might be a reminder to make some room for our inner child to come back to us. Our really organic and pure and true self. And I use that word pure a lot when I'm speaking about the inner child. And I want to make sure to specify that when I say the word pure, I don't mean it in any sort of moralizing sense. I mean it quite literally, where I mean, like, not mixed, or I Google the definition of pure because I do that all the time. Not pure meaning not mixed or adulterated with any other substance, without any extraneous or unnecessary material, free from contamination. Can we make a little more space for that really pure childlike part of ourselves? So this card, moving through this energy, is really a signal, maybe, that we've changed. Something has changed. We get to really check in with how we're showing up in the world. Are you showing up in the same old way, the same old patterns, the same old shit that we're used to? Or have you fully been with, acknowledged, and celebrated your growth and the ways that you've changed? The Sun card, ruled by the Sun, which rules over Leo, which is all heart. It's all about being in the center of that light. It's about being that illumination you're ready to be seen. You're ready to change. You're ready to step into something new. A wall is ready to come down. A shadow is ready to like be brought into light. You are so much more ready to be seen and witnessed and acknowledged than you might believe yourself to be. There's a want, like I said in the beginning, I used to wish I could be invisible. And at the same time, I think of like a middle school cafeteria, which was like a traumatizing place for me personally. And like wanting so badly to be invisible, but that wasn't actually what I wanted, right? At the same time, that is so not what little Melissa wanted. What little Melissa wanted was to be seen and to play and have fun. How can you offer that light to yourself? You are more ready to be seen than you might think you are. This is also a moment of celebration and acknowledgement. Really allow yourself to celebrate yourself. Look at you. Shine a light. Look at you. Look at you. You have come so far. You have grown through so much. You have been through it, right? You've been through some shit. You've conquered some shit. You're still working on conquering some shit. Shit hasn't been easy. And you have so much light and power, so much. Witness it in yourself. Allow it to be witnessed by others and celebrate your light. Celebrate the fuck out of your life. Freudian slip. Celebrate the fuck out of your life and your light. I was going to say light, but life came out. How beautiful. You deserve it. You deserve it. You've been through so much, and you have such a power and such a light to show the world. You've experienced so many things. You're a king or a queen. That deserves to be celebrated, and it deserves to be seen. I hope that resonates. I hope that is hitting your heart. And I hope you allow yourself to live from a very heart first place. I hope you really allow yourself to shine and be seen. And I hope you allow yourself to see yourself. I hope you allow yourself to take off the armor. And gosh, I think of things like, what do you use as armor? What does armor look like for you? For some people, it's really long hair. I remember my mother had really long hair for such a long time. And when she cut it off, she said she felt like she wasn't hiding anymore. She said she felt like she took off a blanket. I used to, and maybe sometimes still do, use this is a shallow example, kind of. This is like a trite example in a way, but it was big for me. I used to use like cardigans or jackets or, big loose cardigans as a sort of armor, as a sort of way of feeling like I could kind of hide. And learning to just wear a tank top took some work for me. It's an example of armor, right? It's an example of where I was not willing to be seen. I couldn't let my fat arms be seen. No, horrifying. Can you liberate yourself of any ways that you've built up an armor? And it doesn't have to be physical things like your hair or your cardigans. We get to continue exploring our defenses the way we started to in Cancer season. We get to really continue to look at what your armor is made of. So maybe you crack a joke during a serious situation. That's a form of armor. It's a form of not being seen. Maybe you choke back your tears. Let me know how this lands for you. Let me know what comes up for you. Let me know what gets in the way of this. I'd love to hear from you. Remember that you make friends with lions. You don't need anything to do it except for what you already got, because you're pretty damn special already. Take care of yourselves. Love you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope this served. Let me know. I'll talk to you soon.